Well, guys, you know what? Yesterday was a bizarre day, a very bizarre day. Obviously, another depressing day in terms of transfers. No incomings, no outgoings, no signings yet again from Rangers. It's a weird one, isn't it? It is a very, very weird one. Um, Philly Clement obviously talked post Copenhagen game about the fact that we were close. That was his words, but nothing yet ready and finalised. It'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it, who those close players are and what positions in particular we are looking at. Obviously, that is an ongoing discussion. The other obviously thing is around obviously those discussions are currently ongoing about overcoming the ticket impasse around the Old Firm game as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that on the video. We'll also talk a little bit about David Jurasek and developments over him. We'll talk a little bit about Rangers. We'll talk a little bit about what's upcoming on the channel as well. And like I said, it was a very bizarre day yesterday. I had some really bizarre discussions yesterday. We obviously one of the big ones was a huge debate over what is Ridvan's height. That was a very bizarre discussion that we had yesterday as regards Ridvan Yilmaz. Listed as 174 centimetres on every football website on the internet, transfer market, football world, all of them list him as 174 centimetres, which is around 5'8". Yet there's a whole load of Rangers fans insisting that he is no bigger than either 5'3" or 5'6". Very bizarre discussion over height of Ridvan Yilmaz. What other bizarre discussion did we have yesterday? There was a bizarre discussion yesterday. I've got to say, I'm not quite sure what this Rangers fan was on, but witness this comment, guys. I'd love to get your opinion on this comment. This was a comment that was made yesterday. This is it. Robbie McCrory would have saved both Kyogo's goals in the Old Firm game. And McCrory is a better goalkeeper than Jack Butland. That was a discussion from yesterday. Look, nothing against Robbie. I think he's a fine keeper. I don't think he had the best game against Copenhagen. I think he made some daft errors. But that has got to be one of the most bizarrest takes I have heard all season, that he is a better goalkeeper than Jack Butland. Look, we're quite lucky at Rangers. We do have two very good keepers in McCrory and Butland. But look, Jack Butland is absolute head and shoulders for me better than Robbie McCrory. I mean, the way he commands his box, the way he comes for balls, his shot-saving ability, he is absolute, for me, different class, that boy. He really is. Look, nothing against Robbie. Like I said, I've got absolutely nothing against Robbie. I think he's a fine keeper. I think he'd make a great keeper somewhere else as a number one. It's just, that obviously that he is got Jack Butland in his way. So utterly weird day yesterday with debates over Ridvan Yilmaz's height and debates over whether Robbie McCrory is a better goalkeeper than Jack Butland. And a few people missed my point on my tweet yesterday as well. I was talking about, the argument is that Ridvan isn't tall enough. That's how this Ridvan debate came about. I then looked into the heights of some others. Bigente Lizarazu, one French fullback, French World Cup winning fullback, is 5'5". Philippe Lahm, one of the greatest fullbacks of all time, 5'7". I think Cafu was 5'8". Roberto Carlos, 5'6". These guys are world-class players. And I had somebody say, yeah, but Ridvan's not in the same quality. I wasn't saying he was in the same quality of these guys. What I was basically saying is that you don't have to be a giant to play fullback in world football. That's the point I was getting at. I do get a bit annoyed with this argument that Ridvan isn't tall enough. I think that's a very prehistoric attitude. Especially, I think you get the argument when the hammer throwers in Scotland, they throw the ball to the back post. Well, you know what? That's where your left-sided centre-back should be covering, not your left full-back. So I think that sort of negates that argument just a little bit. Look, Ridvan Yilmaz, his future is still very uncertain. And my personal opinion is I would keep him to at least the end of the season. Then, we may look at flipping him for £4.5 million, granted. But I just feel that we finally got Ridvan Yilmaz playing how we wanted him to play. He's finally fit. He's finally going forward. He's finally looking like a player, isn't he? And look, at the end of the day, I think he's a good player. For me, he's a better fullback than Borna Barisic. He offers more going forward. He offers more going back. He's finally got into form. He's finally got fit. He's finally looking like the fullback that we thought we were getting. We paid all that money for him way back when. So, look, I think personally I would keep hold of him. I don't think personally that just because you get £3.5-4 million for Ridvan now, it means we can afford any players. I think there's obviously discussions around that. I don't know what the situation is. I haven't got any particular massive inkling at the club as to what is going on with that. Look, I won't pretend that I'm not a little concerned. I am a little concerned about the fact that it's now the 18th of January. We still haven't had any signings. No one has yet signed on a permanent basis. Obviously, Fabio Silva is here on loan. We know that till at least the end of the season, but we know that there's no chance of signing him because Wolves paid 35 million for him, and even if they want to move him on at season's end, they want to recoup as much of that 35 million pound as possible. Something obviously that Rangers could no way afford, especially if we're continually debating whether or not we can afford Abdallah Sima, who is quoted at between 7 and 10 million. So look, that is a big one. Abdallah Sima is obviously away with Senegal. He is a big miss. There is a real Abdallah Sima shaped hole on that left-hand side of the Rangers attack. He's a fundamental part of this team. He has been a fabulous part of this team. He's a goal-scoring threat. We are missing him. But we've got to find a way to work around him. And obviously, Rabbi Matondo's got to step up. Fabio Silva's got to step up. There is obviously a lot of interesting discussions around who can fill in for him. And look, going forward, Matondo is an option, has to be an option there because there is literally no one else. Scott Wright, I suppose, could play out there. Fabio Silva, if you go with Cyril Dessers up front. The injury situation is what it is in terms of strikers. Kemar Roof is out till at least March. Danilo is out till April. So look, that's the situation we're in. Until we sign anyone, or if we sign anyone, I think is probably a better comment there. We have Dessers and we have Silva. Silva is not really an out-and-out nine. We saw that the other day. He's more a support striker, attacking midfielder, someone who will drop back into those gaps, try to open holes by dropping out. And maybe that, just maybe that we're going to go for a kind of change of formation, a change of shape, a change of ways of playing going forward if we don't bring anyone else in. The Silva will go into that 9 role. Cantwell behind him, and we'll continue to see them interchange in positions, the way that they have done over the last couple of games that they've played together, the Kilmarnock game and obviously this game against FC Copenhagen. Who knows? A lot depends on what is the plans with the strikers, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've got a crystal ball to see into the future of that. I know for a fact that Rangers are working on a deal for this man or that man. The reports are out there, and look, as a fan, you comment on those reports. You can come on and say, "Oh, it's all just speculation," but look, it is just speculation until everything is speculation. Until you actually see someone at Auchenhowie or at Ibrox stood with a shirt on, with a scarf above their head, proclaiming that they've signed for Rangers. Everything is speculation. Everything is rumor. Everything is counter rumor. That is the way it works, unfortunately, guys, and it's frustrating. It's annoying. It's irritating. We'd all love to know who Rangers are signing with, but that is impossible because the moment you do that, you release that into the world. You may get teams coming in, nicking them off you. You may get their agents asking for more money. It's a very complicated situation. Look, what I want to know is, what I would like to see. Let's work on this. That minimum, if we don't get, if Ridvan and Borna stay put through this window, and we don't lose Ridvan or Borna or both of them, that the key priorities for me in this window are to sign a winger and to sign a striker. That is the key priorities. January is not the time for a massive overhaul. January is not the time to ship out loads of players. January is not the time to bring in loads of players. The players you're going to get at this stage of the season, you're not going to get the pick of the players that you really want. At this time, you may get the odd player you really want, but you're not going to get that mass weight of players that you can get in the summer when players are more willing to move, clubs are more willing to sell. When things are settled, clubs are more willing to let players leave and, to refresh their squads when they're still in contention for Europe or fighting against relegation or still wanting to win a title or still in Europe, they keep their squads largely together. Players who are succeeding for them, who are being successful, which is the type of players we need to be going for, will stay put until the summer. So look, that is the situation we're in. That's where we're up to at this moment in time. Now, we spoke yesterday about the growing noise around David Jurasek, the Czech left back, who plays currently for Benfica. Now, reports coming out of Germany appear to suggest that Jurasek is on the verge of signing on loan for TSG Hoffenheim. So that appears to be the in thing, apparently, that he will be going to Hoffenheim. Now, the reason, according to the German media, that he is going to sign for Hoffenheim is that Hoffenheim are preparing a loan to buy deal. Now, the loan to buy deal will involve a possible £10 million fee. So It is that Jurasek is successful in his loan spell with Hoffenheim, they will then pay £10 million for the services of David Jurasek. Now, I don't believe for 1 minute, and as someone who loves the club to bits and fully committed to the cause, we haven't got £10 million to spend on a left back. There just isn't that sort of money swilling around. One, because of FFP. Two, because of the fact Michael Beale wasted a lot of money in the summer. Three, because of the fact that we haven't got the financial revenue streams as of yet, with missing out the Champions League this year, with players on big contracts that don't deserve those contracts. That they have put the club in a position where we can't afford to spend that money. So realistically, we can't compete with Hoffenheim. So it does look like Jurasek will be off to TSG Hoffenheim in Germany. So it looks like another one bites the dust. Other reports as well suggest that Josh Doig could be on the verge of joining Celtic. That's right. Now, rumours have it that they had agreed a deal for Owen Beck, but apparently because Liverpool are unprepared to commit to that being a permanent deal, Celtic want to sign a permanent left back, and Josh Doig could be their man. So, that's another one possibly that Rangers have missed out, even though obviously reports said that we weren't interested in him in the slightest. It'd be interesting to see if Celtic did sign him, how much they pay for him. The whole David Jurasek thing now, even Fabrizio Romano is tweeting about it. So let's face it, if Fabrizio Romano is saying it, it's got to be fairly true. Fabrizio Romano has literally, as at time of recording, has just tweeted, Hoffenheim are closing in on a deal to sign David Jurasek from Benfica. Talks are advancing on a loan move. Understand deal would include buy option clause. Hoffenheim hope to get the deal done by the end of the week. So it does look like that one is fairly much a dead one, and that Jurasek will not be coming to Ibrox. Not a chance that will be happening. I'll be honest with you, I'm constantly scrolling Fabrizio. Fabrizio is the man who seems to get in behind the window, get in behind the find out that bit of information about players, about where they're going, about what is happening with them. And it does seem very much at the moment that it is very quiet on the Rangers front. There is very little rumours coming out of Fabrizio about anyone coming in or anyone going out. Other interesting reports as well that I've heard as regards Lawrence Shankland is that the football board are split down the middle over Lawrence Shankland. That there are some of the football board that want Shankland, and there are some of the football board that do not want Shankland. Look, if that's the case, we go with what Philippe Clement wants. That's what you've got to do. You go with what your manager wants, not what Craig Robertson wants, not what James Bisgrove wants, not what Niels Coppen wants. You go with what Philippe Clement wants, because at the end of the day, Clement is the man who has to work with these players. Clement is the man who has to get the best out of these players. And we need him to have the players that he wants to have the best success. He is the main man at the end of the day. He is the man we have to trust in. The work that he's done with his squad has been fantastic. He is getting a tune out of a fairly average squad. He is, performed, I think, pretty much miracles since he's come in to get us back into contention in the league, to get us playing as a team. There is a sense of identity there. There is more tactics there. There is clearly a bigger, stronger team spirit there than there was under Michael Beale. And that's all down to Philippe Clement, the work that he has done with the players. So look, we trust him. We let him decide over this deal. And if it is that Shankland wants him, even if Bisgrove and Robertson don't, you go with what Clement wants. You do not go with what Robertson and Bisgrove want. You certainly don't go with what James Bisgrove wants, because let's face it, what James Bisgrove knows about football, you can probably write on the back of a stamp and still have room to lick it. Not that you lick stamps anymore anyway, but that's where we're up to, I think. So we trust Philippe Clement. We trust him to get the job done. Now, our minds will obviously turn to the cup tie this weekend, 5:30 kickoff in playing against Dumbarton in the cup. We'll talk a little bit about what, as the week goes on, about the possible players, possible team situation. We know who's out. Roof is out. Danilo is out. Ben Davis is out injured. Kieran Dowell is out injured. Dujon Sterling should be back in contention. It's unlikely that Lawrence and Jack will be in a position to start, given the fact they've just come back from injury. And we know Philippe Clement does not like to put players who've just come back from injury straight into the starting lineup. So look, we will look obviously ahead of that Dumbarton game in a little bit more detail as this week comes on. And as we get towards that game, we will do a preview. A reminder as well, we will be talking about that game as well as a whole host of other things around Rangers in the podcast tonight at 8:35. Myself and Laura and Damien will be having a conversation about loads of things, guys. The fantastic Laura Hatton from TikTok, as well as singer, Rangers fan, just podcaster, TikToker, Damien Hendry will be here talking all things Rangers FC. So come and join us for that tonight. Look, I'd love to be able to sit here and bring you some fantastic news that we have signed player X, player Y, and player Z, and we are on our way to really smashing them from across the city. But at this moment in time, look, there is nothing. There is literally nothing. There is only reports. There is only rumour. There is only counter rumour. And look, it is frustrating. It is 110% frustrating. I would love Rangers to come out and make announcements and say, we have signed this player, we have signed that player. Of course I would. Look, and I'd love to be able to tell you that some of these links and some of these reports are cast iron and true, but the club have appeared very effective, haven't they, in kind of dampening these rumours and denying rumours and hiding stories. You know, that if there are 2 or 3 players close, there is clearly no indication within the media, or there's been no leaks from the club as to who those players are. So look, we've just got to bide our time. We've got to try and hopefully keep the faith that in these next 13 days that we can sign somebody at least for the striker position, because look, if we go through the rest of the season with just Dessers, we are going to struggle. Nothing against Cyril Dessers, I'm not slagging him off. I'm just saying with one striker you are going to struggle. Silva is not a striker. You need to rotate your team. You need to have a number of players for a number of positions, particularly when you are going for the Scottish Cup, the league, and still in the Europa League. You do need that squad depth. Well, guys, let me know what you think. Where are you up to? What's your thoughts on what is going on at the moment at the club? Obviously, look out for any more videos that break during the day, and also come and join us for the pod tonight. If you can hit the sub button, that'd be absolutely fabulous as the channel continues to move towards its 5K target. And obviously then we'll set more targets and move on. Guys, the bigger this channel gets, the better. And also the fact that, look, I'd love to be somewhere near CJ Nova. Look, I'm not saying I'm as good as I'm nowhere near as good as CJ Nova. CJ Nova is amazing, but he is the guy I aim to be like, the one I want to emulate. So, guys, hit that sub. It would be phenomenal if you could. And as always, I ask 2 things of you on the way out. Number 1, smash the like. It helps the video. And number 2, always remember, please never forget, we are the people.